What is up, everybody in fantasy land? It's Biggs. I'm here. It's breakfast with Biggs. Starting a little early today. It's all right. It's not a problem. I am here to take your start and sit questions, getting you ready for the second slate because we got a London game that's going on right now. And everybody, I told you, start Darvin Ham. Yeah, I didn't say that. Nobody said that. Nobody said start Darvin Ham. Nobody in Darvin Ham's career has said start Darvin Ham. I don't want to show that Stanford logo because fuck Stanford. So this is Breakfast with Biggs from the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Today we are brought to you by Ass Wrecker Hot Dog Sauce. It'll set your ass on fire. Also, Polar Seltzer, not officially a sponsor, but hey, reach out. Let's get this show going. We got the chat's on fire, you guys. What's up, Tyler? Tyler Bradley, our fearless leader, says, "What's up, Biggs?" And he says, "Woo pig, hell yeah!" Hogs coming off a big upset victory yesterday against Tennessee. There's a little history with Tennessee, and I'll get into in a second. But Tennessee was up by, like, they were favored by like 14 or 16, a couple touchdowns at least, I think. And the Hogs overcame with the upset at Rocky Top. Ha! Yeah, and so here's the rundown on this little rivalry, I guess. 1998. University of Arkansas, new head coach Houston Nutt, having one of the best years they've ever had. They were highly ranked. I think they were ranked number 2, and Tennessee was number 1. Both teams were undefeated, and they go. Arkansas goes to Tennessee, and if they win, it's a clear path to the national championship. This is pre BCS game, so basically it was like it would come down to the polls. Speaking of polls, go to Fantasy Sports Advice Network and check out our polls. So Arkansas has the lead. They're going into the final minute of the game. All they got to do is just kneel down, just run the clock out. And Clint Sterner, Arkansas quarterback, drops back, slips, uses the ball to try and break his fall, fumbles. Tennessee recovers, kicks a field goal, wins the national championship. It was Arkansas's best chance ever, and Clint Sterner coughed it away. So that was less than ideal, and so I've had hate in my heart for Tennessee Volunteers ever since. Regardless of, like some of their players I've enjoyed. I liked Peyton Manning when he came out. He was a fun story, and watching him. The Volunteers had a quarterback named Todd Helton, and he got hurt, and Peyton Manning came in, took the job, ran away with it, and Todd Helton went on to be a Hall of Famer with the Colorado Rockies. So that was a pretty cool thing to see. All right, let me I came in a little early. We're just starting now. Hey everybody, it's Fantasy Forecast. Breakfast with Biggs starts and sits. Again, we are where'd that go? Brought to you by Ass Wrecker Hot Dog Sauce. It'll set your ass on fire. Real thing, by the way. I made and canned my first batch of hot dog sauce yesterday. Some people know it as chili. When I say chili, there's no beans in it. It's just meat sauce. And I put in a pepper. It's called a skunk chocolate. It's a 1.1 million Scoville unit, super hot. And let me tell you, it works. It does the trick. When I was cutting it up, I just licked my glove, and sucker, like, my lips were throbbing, and it was fun. I forgot what I was doing. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. If you have any start and sit questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If you just want to say hi, put that in the chat. If you have a random question that you want me to answer, maybe some relationship advice or a good recipe that you're trying to suss out, like, it doesn't have to be about fantasy football. But I mean, that's kind of what we're here for, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, so I'll be here with you leading up to the next Starts and Sit show from Fantasy Football Advice Network, because we got you covered, right? Currently, Minnesota's up 17-7 on the New York Jets, and I missed how the Jets scored a touchdown because I was getting ready for the show. I'm a little bit behind because my partner of 14 years. Yesterday was one of our anniversaries. We don't know exactly the day, so we try and figure it out based on Facebook memories when it shows up a post that one of us made from like 14 years ago. There was a quote that she had posted 14 years ago yesterday, and so this year that was the reason why we thought that yesterday was our anniversary, or it could have been the day before. About 14 years. Anyway, she travels for work. She works in Alaska, and every 2 weeks she goes up there. Then she comes home for 2 weeks. Then she goes back for 2 weeks. Then she comes home for 2 weeks. So this morning was her time to go, and so I wanted to watch this London game, and I had to take her to the airport. And I got back just in time to turn on my computer and get ready for the show. So I'm a little bit behind on my prep, and I'm getting to it as quickly as I can, and it should be right now. Okay, so now I can look back at the studio and address the chat. All right, that's the chat. Okay. Brent says, in regards to the Hogs game, it was a good game. Who are we rolling with this week? Hamondre or Gibson? Is Gibson and start just talk? Should we expect the split to be more even? I don't think we should. Maybe the split is even. They're making it a point to discipline Hamondre, and that's fine, but he's still their lead back. They just are trying to send him a message. I'm still going with Ramondre. I did not pick up Antonio Gibson in any league off the waiver wire or anything. Not even in the leagues that I'm holding Ramondre. So yeah, you can tail me. Or, hey, you're your own person. You can make your own decisions. But I'm starting Ramondre. I'm not starting Gibson anyway, or anywhere. All right. And what are your thoughts on Ford rest of the season? Will Chubb be back? Will Ford still be relevant? I think I'm holding on to my Ford shares. Now, keep in mind, I play a ton of Dynasty. So sometimes when I say shares, I'm talking about my Dynasty teams. In redraft leagues, I didn't draft either of them. I prefer Ford personally. Chubb, I mean, how it usually takes a good full season, a full calendar year before people are actually back from surgeries and stuff. And it has. I don't think it's been a full year, and it takes them a year to get back on the field. Then it takes another year for them to get their efficiency back in order. But then on top of that, you have the age decline at the same time with Nick Chubb. Now, when we look at elite players, Derrick Henry is one of them. Saquon Barkley is another. Derrick Henry's never had a catastrophic injury, but Saquon Barkley has a couple, and he looks just fine. So, as Chubb is in that elite category, elite running backs, their timeline, their age cliff, they can go longer. So where I have Chubb, I'm happy that he's coming back. Ford is still relevant, although he drops from a startable RB1, RB2 to possible matchup flex option once Chubb comes back. those are my thoughts on Ford. And I'm glad I correctly inferred that you were talking about Jerome Ford, because nobody wants to hear my take on Ford Motor Company and their god awful Mustang SUV. What is wrong with you? Yeah, I'm a Chevy man. Sorry, Tyler. Although I do like Toyota. And I mean, Toyota maybe like their corporation may have started in Japan, but they do have factories in the United States, and they employ plenty of Toyota factory workers, both Toyota and BMW. So I have no problem purchasing cars made in America for the BMW or Toyota brand. All right, what's up with Dubs? Thanks for the question, Rockstar Rips. He let me just say this: he will score as many points this week for me as he ever has, and that is none, because I've never owned him, never liked him. He. I don't know. Everybody in my homely group chat was like, Jaden Reed value up. No, Dubs never affected Reed's value. Reed came in and immediately Dubs was irrelevant. And Dontavian Wicks is much, much better than Dubs. And I mean, he's had a few games, but he hasn't sustained like an ownable season in his career yet. So he's just being a whiny baby. That's what's up with him. All right, question: quarterback. Sit Mahomes versus the Saints, or Caleb Williams against Carolina? Thank you, Facebook user. Quick to the data machine, or data machine. Let's let's punch the numbers, shall we? Mahomes and Caleb, or the cool people call him Leb Williams. All right. We are going with a raw projection of 16.56 points for Mahomes to 14.8 for Caleb. A ceiling of 12 points. Oh, because there's a matchup penalty of -6 points for Mahomes and plus 1 point for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has a ceiling of 19.8 points, adjusted projection of 15.7, matchup adjusted projection 10.45, and a ceiling of 12. So based on this, I'm going with Caleb Williams against Carolina. I think one of the things that's going to affect the game is Kansas City's defense against New Orleans is going to create a low-scoring game script, and Carolina is going to create a high-scoring game script. So I can see Caleb Williams having a better day. Now, does Caleb Williams throw more interceptions? Does he have more incompletions than Mahomes today? Probably. But the likelihood of him throwing more touchdowns, even to fewer yards, is a little bit better. So I like Caleb Williams. I can't believe I'm saying it, but yeah, go with Williams. All right, question from Twitter. Thanks, Tyler, for putting that in. Trey Sermon, Ramondre, or Najee Harris? Well, first of all, I'm going with Najee. So let's look at Najee versus Ramondre. And Najee has a 17-point projection. Ramondre has a better matchup bonus and a slightly higher ceiling, but his projection is lower. I'm going with Ramondre, I'm going with Najee in that situation. And then Trey Sermon. Yeah. I don't know about Trey Sermon. He's a risky play. I feel like they're going to be forced to throw quite a bit. I think this game is going to be a shootout. I think this is the game that Jacksonville gets back, and I think that Joe Flacco is going to be throwing the ball a ton. I'm going Najee and Ramondre on that one. Thank you, Twitter. I call it Twitter. I refuse to call it anything else. All right, so yeah, keep pumping those questions, you guys. Love the questions, and I apologize. I tried to explain earlier that I had to run to the airport, and then I hustled back, and I was gonna grab a donut for breakfast at the donut shop, and I didn't have enough time. I barely had enough time to not go there. And so I'm not eating breakfast. I'm just drinking Polar Seltzer, and I'm getting ready to eat a hot dog with ass wrecker hot dog sauce. It'll set your ass on fire. My partner, Mike Lindbergh, who for the second week in a row said that he was going to like pop in the studio and say hi to everybody in Fantasyland, but he hasn't. I mentioned in our little chat yesterday that I made this hot dog sauce, and he said, "Yay, spicy ketchup!" And first of all, do not put ketchup on hot dogs. Secondly, hot dog sauce is not ketchup; it's chili, and it's technically not chili. Oh no, it's not your bad. I mean, honestly, do I really need a donut? No, it's just a narrative. It's like it's part of the show. It's like in stand-up comedy when they tell a story that's not necessarily true. So don't worry about it. But thank you for watching. That's my girlfriend, everybody. Partner of 14 years as of yesterday. Probably. It's sometime between August and November. Well, thank you, Brent Bradford. Yes, I need a donut. I'm going Ford initially off the bat, but let's see what the data says. And hopefully you're not wondering if you should drive a Ford or start Christian Kirk. When I say that, that I think it's going to be a shootout, I think, yeah, Jerome Ford for that. Ceiling's a little higher for Kurt. I think his touchdown upside is a little bit higher, but total yards, Jerome Ford takes it. Jerome Ford probably has maybe one or two fewer receptions. So typically in the flex, I tend to go with wide receivers, just because it's more likely for a wide receiver to have a 2 touchdown game than a running back. But you also want to establish a good floor, and I feel like Jerome Ford provides the better floor for you. So again, we're in the business of what's likely to happen, not what will happen. So what will happen could be Christian Kirk scores 3 touchdowns and Jerome Ford doesn't score at all. What's most likely to happen is Jerome Ford rushes for 50 to 60 yards, has 20 to 30 yards receiving on 3 catches, maybe gets into the end zone. And so like that's an establishment of a 12 to 15 point floor, a baseline for you. Whereas Christian Kirk, it's almost as likely that he gets 3 points as he does 20 points. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta kind of like look at it that way. And sometimes it sucks. Like I had in my home league today, I had the decision between Myles Garrett and Andrew Van Ginkel, and I went with Myles Garrett, and then Andrew Ginkle had a pick six. So that would be nice from your defensive line position in an IDP league. But it wasn't. What's more likely to happen? Andrew Van Ginkle having a pick six or Myles Garrett having 3 sacks. So hopefully I can get my 8 points out of Myles Garrett and still carry the win, and it won't matter that I'm not getting 20 points from Andrew Van Ginkle. All right, Tyler's in again. I am playing Ford against a Washington D that just gave up 181 rushing yards to Arizona last week. All 3 running backs averaged over 5 yards per carry. That's a great point, sir. You are the best boss that anybody has ever had. And your khakis look great. Brought to you by Dockers. All right. Tyler is the founder of Fantasy Football Advice Network. For the few of you watching who don't know. Yes, sir. Yeah. What should we talk about now? Let's talk about hot dog sauce some more. So, you got to love a good chili dog, but the chili can't be too thick. It's got to be kind of saucy, but it can't be too saucy. And so that's where hot dog sauce comes from. And so I really wanted to make some. So my partner researched a good recipe for canning, jarring, and put and got the recipe. So we yesterday I made the chili and canned it. My first canning job. And then I was like, ooh, now I need a marketing plan and a label and a name. So that's where I came up with Ass Wrecker hot dog sauce. It'll set your ass on fire. So that's where that comes from. Oh no. Ha. I need a producer. Where is Schultze? Schultze! You gotta take these things off the screen for me. I can't do it myself. All right. BHS Cardinal 16. So where is BHS? Crazy question, but Thomas or Tyreek? I saw a little bit of Twitter steam for Brian Thomas Jr., and because of that, I put him into my lineup. I also have Tyreek Hill in a league, and there's a certain point where you can't give up on Tyreek. You have to just keep him in the lineup regardless. But Brian Thomas Jr., consistent, best on average, and safe. Tyreek Hill, risky and upside. Higher projected matchup points for Brian Thomas Jr. Slightly higher ceiling for Tyreek. I love Brian Thomas Jr. against Indy. Not as big a fan of Tyreek against New England just because of A, Christian Gonzalez and on the coverage, and B, is Tyler Huntley gonna get him the ball? There is going to be a week with Tyler Huntley where Tyreek scores 2 touchdowns. Maybe that's this week. But again, we want to establish a good floor, regardless of what the possible ceiling might be. And I feel like Brian Thomas Jr. has been earning his targets. He's been developing his rapport with Trevor Lawrence, and it usually takes rookies not named Justin Jefferson. Well, no, it took Jefferson a little bit. It takes a little time for rookies not named Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. to have it takes them half a season to start really hitting their stride. I think Evan Ingram being out again, that hurts Brian Thomas Jr. a little bit. But Tyreek is projected to have 7 targets. I just don't know if they're going to do that. They're weekly. Brian Thomas Jr. he's outperformed Tyreek Hill the last 3 weeks in a row. So you can go one of two ways with that. One, Tyreek's gonna like regress back to his average, or that trend is going to continue. Tyreek has been pretty the week 2, 3, and 4. Tyreek was pretty consistent, right around 5 to 7 points. Brian Thomas Jr. 10, 7, and then last week 18. So it's not a crazy question, BHS Cardinal 16. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go, Brian Thomas Jr. Roll them bones. All right, Tyler, I'm hit hard by bye weeks. Thinking about rolling with Roschon. Can he have a big week, or would it be better to grab Darius Slayton off waivers with neighbors out? No, go with Roschon. Roschon, my dude. Roschon is my guy, and he was my big waiver wire pickup 2 weeks ago. Earning that job. The matchup isn't terrible, and I have zero faith in Darius Slayton. This is a terrible matchup for the Giants, and I feel like Seattle is good enough to completely shut the wide receiver core down. Now, if Tyrone Tracy is available, I would say grab Tyrone Tracy. I know he's your guy. Yeah. It's too bad he went to Texas, right? Most people don't know that Texas Arkansas was one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football until the SEC, because that conference, I forgot what the conference was called that they were in. Was it the Southwest Conference? They were big Southwest Conference rivals, and way back in the days when Jerry Jones was playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks with Jimmy Johnson, Frank Broyles, they were that was a long time ago, and they had some big national like Cotton Bowls, and if you're in Arkansas, you hate Texas. And Arkansas jumped to the SEC because that's where the money is, and Texas stayed in the Big 12 or whatever conference they were in then. And it didn't matter. They didn't play each other for a long time. They played each other in the 2000 Cotton Bowl, and Arkansas with Darren McFadden kicked the absolute crap out of them, which was fantastic. But you could not go anywhere in Arkansas and say, yeah, I'm a Longhorns fan. You'd get beat up. You get beat up pretty hard. And then because there was no big rivalry with Texas anymore, they tried to fabricate the Arkansas LSU rivalry, which then they put the game after the day after Thanksgiving, and it was fun. They had a trophy to play for and everything, and Arkansas even won a couple of those games, but just it didn't take. And then they got once everybody got used to it, then they took it away. Braylon Russell as a future prospect, of course. I like Braylon Russell. I like Taylon Green. I even still have a candle in the window for KJ and Raheem, or Rocket as he is. Rocket Sanders coming out next year, and in a couple years, look out for Cal's own Jet Thomas, but also Jaden Ott next year. So getting you ready for your 2025 rookie drafts already. Yeah, Ashton John T is going to be the RB1. Everybody knows that, even though he plays in a lesser conference. Jaden Ott is a stud, and then in a couple years, we've got Jet Thomas coming out of Cal. He's a smaller guy, so I don't know what his NFL prospects look like. Let's just see how big he is. Oh, everybody watched the Cal Miami game last night. Stupid. Some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. First of all, there was a face mask that wasn't called on a Jade Knott run, and that wasn't called, and it was bullshit. And then Cam Ward had a rushing touchdown, and you could totally tell as he's escaping the pocket, the defensive lineman from Cal is like being pulled from behind, like he's being held like this and pulled from behind by the Miami guy. No call. And then there's ineligible people downfield on another touchdown. No call. And then the non-targeting call where Fernando is like running with the ball and the safety comes over, launches at him, and then the crown of his helmet hits him right upside the head. You could see like the collision, just his head just obliterated. He goes down in a crumble. No targeting? Are you kidding me? That's a first down in the ball game right there. There's absolutely no world that exists in which Miami wins that game unless those ACC refs are betting on the game, have money on Miami, or are being bribed. Period. All right. Tyler, I'm a degenerate. Aren't we all? That's why we're here. This is a degenerate safe space. And then finally, before I go, I need to drop one RB to pick up a kicker. Tank Bigsby, Kareem Hunt, or Rico Dowdle. That's yeah. So my instinct is Tank Bigsby. So that's my gut. Javian Thomas, Jet Thomas is 5'10", 190, by the way. So he's Jahmyr Gibbs size. All right, back to the relevancy. Tank Bigsby, Kareem Hunt, or Rico Dowdle. Okay, Kareem Hunt looked okay last week, but there's no telling what the Chiefs are going to do at this point. It's only been 1 week. We see Ramondre's getting back in the game. It could still be the Carson Steele show moving forward with Kareem Hunt as a backup, or they could just completely give the game to Kareem Hunt. Rico Dowdle is the main RB1 in Dallas. So I think both of those kind of situations, they are superior to Tank Bigsby being second fiddle to Travis Etienne. So that's it. I'm going to get out of here. And thank you for watching Breakfast with Bigz. Thank you for hanging out with me, you guys. Thank you for the questions. Breakfast with Bigz brought to you by Ass Wrecker Hot Dog Sauce. It'll set your ass on fire. I hope you win. I will see you next week. And also watch our waiver wire show on Tuesday. Watch Points After Thursday, after the Thursday night football game. We live stream and answer your start sit questions if you want your start sit questions answered a little bit early. And that's with Greinberg and Schultze and all that. And then we have our injury show that drops on Saturdays. And that's with the physio in residency. Marcus Gailey and sometimes Dr. Schultze. That's it. And catch me next week. And I hope you guys win.